okay, basically in his palace, instead of flowers, there's rice field. There's a cow research center. There's rice field where he do his research so that he can help the farmers build up the nation. Thailand ma paila ta when he first came back from Swiss, they figured out the Thai people were real low in calcium, and then afterward he started the milk farming. Now we are cholesterol high. दुध धेरै भएर के हो कस्तो होला
Turn that shit up!
कति बोल्नु बोलेको रहेछ यता पनि बोलेको उता पनि बोल्यो अङ्ग्रेजीमा ब्याचलर्स गरेछु
Sorry for the delay, Mikidai. Honestly, today we have everyone knows him by Mikidai. Mikidai Mansele. He's known around that town. And this was my family khasma पहिल्यै बोलाउनु खोजेको तपाईलाई तपाईलाई मैले पहिल्यै भनेको थिएँ नि है
I think it was like just before first lockdown.
Yeah, and finally sooner than later, right? And please say something about yourself. Don't too much pressure for me to bring you up.
So basically, everyone knows me as Mikidai, and I have a great long Thai name. And say it for once: Kritsada Kanchanawat.
Sawadee
I have a Tibetan name too, Punsok Tawang. Right, so I guess Mikidai is better to remember and easier to call.
Catchy.
Yeah.
You are half Thai and half Tibetan?
Yes, my mom is Tibetan, my father is Thai. Yeah. And then, so far, most of the time I've been like working with youth, even for the past, 20, let's say 25 years more now. 25 years I've been working with young people and youth people, like, working around. I was working with hip-hop culture. As you guys know, in the past, like b-boying, and we started a movement with b-boys say no to drugs. That was the first movement we did. And
our Tricks was part of that group, right?
Yes.
Professor.
Yeah. I mean, like, actually, basically what I wanted to say for quite some time is that people would say that, I started hip-hop or b-boying, like, and many young people owe a lot of things to me. For me, it's never that. I think I see them as a as a friend. Like, we sit down and talk and we share something that we love, and basically that's it. Like, never own anything. Never own any hip-hop culture, but I loved it. And then we met young people together and we started it out. And then I think from there, my passion working with young people, and then start growing up. And then
this was during the 90s?
Yes, I think
Early 20s, no? Early
2000 Millennium kai पछि ठ्याक्कै I think what do you call that movie? You Got Served. Something like that. Thailand मा चाहिँ धेरै हिट भयो
Theaters.
त्यो जेसिका अल्बाको पनि थियो नि
हजुर
You got served हैन त्यो Stomp the Yard.
Stomp the Yard. त्यही जेनेरेसनको मुभीहरु हो. I used to work at
Step Up.
Yeah. We used to work at a mobile phone shop in MBK. And whenever I returned, there used to be like a hip hop b-boy going around doing stuff. And then I used to teach Muay Thai at that time, so I would watch back then. And then on my way to my second job, I would stop by and see. Then I said, like, why not try it out? If I cannot do it, maybe I can promote it. And then slowly from there, just get the idea and start working with it. At that time, I think in Thailand we had a culture that Muay Thai against drugs. So I just adopt that part into why not. This is also work for the young people. And I mean, like, basically what I figure out is, like, when you want to work with young people, first thing you got to get their attention. तपाईं राम्रो मात्रै भन्नु भएन, उहाँले पनि ध्यान दिनु पर्यो, इन्ट्रेस्टिङ हुनु पर्यो. Then I thought that was the best way to pass out the message भनेर hip hop adapt गरेको. And then what else was there? Then
sorry. And how तपाईँलाई मैले चिनेको भनेको त त्यही कम्ब्याट स्पोर्ट्सबाटै हो honestly भन्यो भने we few years ago I remember I walked into the gym and I met you and we decided to train and I knew not much about Muay Thai and stuff then. That was before I moved to Thailand. Right? And then in a way you told me like you should go to Thailand and train, stay there for a couple of years and do your jiu-jitsu there and do some Muay Thai and come back and study the sport basically. And in a way I listened to that and thanks bro. Thanks for the advice, eh? And I can't wait to go back again. And त्यो हिपहपबाट चाहिँ कम्ब्याट स्पोर्ट ट्रान्जिसन चाहिँ
कसरी भयो भनेर. So the thing is that my family, we used to own a Muay Thai gym where I was born. Right? So
where's that? Sorry.
In Chachangsao. It's Bokhao First Gym, Banchamek Gym. Not Banchamek, sorry. Propamuk Gym. So we share the same region, same river. If you've seen Bokhao video where he jump and swim, that's the same river where we share. And then, so back then in Thailand, we were more of like, in the Thai culture, the combat sport, especially Muay Thai, was more for like a financial noble, you know, like for more like hustle to farmers who have debt and all. Then that's belong to their sport. But even though we own the gym, but I was not able to allow to fight for pro. We were learned signipong theo pad hole. I was not allowed to literally fight in any tournament. But seeing that every morning when I get up going to school, youngsters would be skipping, kicking bags, and coming back, they will still be doing something or the other like that. And then sometime my dad would hold pad for me, and then so I guess it stays slowly sink into you, and then from that day onwards, I think I never got bullied in any schools or basically helped me safe, and I was able to like keep some of my friends safe. Also, we used to hang out. Like, even we were like the smallest. We were not used to.
Was it safe growing up in Thailand? Was it safe growing up in Thailand?
Yes, I would say because I think it depends on which area you go and study, and like we're more like my family were more like so-called politicians part. So everything was set and aim. Okay, you must do this and this and this and this. But then things changed life and it did not happen.
Khausan Road go.
Khausan Road.
मैले अब कम्ब्याट स्पोर्ट किन भनेको भन्दा you were one person I would listen to and अब combat sport, any Muay Thai, boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever, judo, whatever you learn it, rather than teaching you to go out and fight, it's more about discipline, don't you think so?
Yeah.
That you can translate into any facet of your life.
Yes.
Like work, outside the gym, or even with a personal relation or stuff.
I think with what basically combat sport have helped me so far is my work ethic. Like, like you have certain things that you don't give up when you're a martial artist or Muay Thai fighter, or it's what you have been trained and you've been shown that if you stick long enough around a barber shop, what you get is a haircut, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So I think
maybe head massage too.
Like maybe. So, but anyway, I think what I learned from the fight industry was more of like the work ethic. You do have loyalty, but at the same time you're being taught that what you call ego and self-respect have total different path. And I think martial art basically give you the self-respect. Sometimes it's been used by misunderstand and become like like more of ego issue. And that's when I see some fighters going down, booming up. But I think self-respect it would be the perfect thing that you would be learning from any combat sport if you're really practicing about it.
I think there is a lot of there's this cloud over like certain regions in Asia, especially where people think like they don't really associate violence with like good behavior type ones, and I think maybe like slowly it's changing because they won't really include it as a sport in school. So I think that way if you incorporate school, but change until you have it in your school system, like curriculum, there'll be like orthodox people will always view it as just violence. There's nothing else just that panira, and I think that's a good step forward.
What you saying?
There are a bunch of people in and around Nepal who are trying to walk down that line, and you are a pioneer in a way, in your own right, and the community is still very at its fetal stage. And we gotta work together. Is what I feel, rather than
true.
But if you see it's, excuse my language, but if you see it's bullshit, you should call it out, don't you think?
Like what do you mean by that?
Like if there is someone teaching like fake martial arts or like, I mean, like how can you stay like self? If you know for a fact, example, there's some gym around town teaching the wrong technique of Muay Thai or something.
I think you're right in that part.
Would you just stick to yourself or say something saying like, hey, like you need to sharpen your technique that you're teaching, or I don't know. What do you feel?
Well, this goes back to my an old man. I've been through quite a bit. As a monk when I was in Kalimpong, we have all been taught that.
You were a monk in Kalimpong.
Yeah.
These two are from Kalimpong.
Durbindara.
Hey.
There you go. You guys came up there.
Yeah, I've been there
couples, single. That was the point. And we were the mimi up there watching. What are they doing? के भइरहेछ त्यहाँ?
हजुर कालिम्पोङ कति वर्ष बस्नु?
7 वर्ष बस्यो.
कुन चाहिँ
दुर्बिन डाँडा.
7 वर्ष is almost lifetime for some.
Kalimpong you'll feel like a lifetime. There's not much to do.
Okay, monk. Let's jump into monkhood a little bit. Hip-hop, combat sports, like monkism, like where does it fit?
Well, I think it's back to my family and all. My mom, she's Tibetan, and even Tibetan and Thai, we are very much into Buddhism and culture part. And actually, it started with like, okay, son, would you like to try the monastery life for 3 months? And then I said, yeah, why not? Then from 3 months became 1 year. 1 year became 7 years.
You were already an adult by this time.
13 when I was 13.
Oh, you were 13.
This like hostel was sorted.
It was amazing. Like now I'm kind of laugh to it, but the first time we went to the monastery, the first night, not the first night, the first week. So at home, you barely wash your own plates. First time we entered the monastery, like 60 monks go rice cooking pot, and I could actually sit in it and scrub it out. Yeah, we do not have sabun area kharani, koila, and scrub it out. Right? So whether you're from the wealthy or not wealthy, everyone is same over there. And then for 1 year you have to run this whole duty, like taking care of the kitchen, taking the cow,
cow shed.
Yeah. हजुर त्यो पनि गर्ने हामीले.
गोठालो भनेको त पर्सन हैन गोठ भनेको त शेड.
गोठालो भने shepherd.
Shepherd, yeah, गाईले हेर्ने के. So basically त्यो दुर्बिनी तल जंगल लान्थ्यो, 13 वटा गाई हुन्थ्यो.
What was the moral of the story? I mean, lessons.
Hospitality management.
Well, basically I think it was more about humble. Like everything have its own time, and then slowly we used to like hate that situation so much, but then we start to learn about like everyone have to go through it. And then it's thinking of today, I can do not any super work, but I think I can survive any situation in life, whether it's going to be highest in up in the penthouse or down the road washing dishes. I can.
So you have no fear.
Yeah, I think it's
a sense of fear.
Yeah,
no? Like, what if if tomorrow, what if I go broke?
Yeah.
Will I survive?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna break down due to the pressure of
hustle,
the worldly attachments and pleasures?
You know that it comes and it goes. Like what you were talking about before, when we talk about fake martial art teaching, technique and all stuff. I would rather say that if it's happened right in front of me, for sure, like I will find a way to say it, but I may not be like as direct, stop faking it, but I will have my own way of. First thing, like as a coach, as a trainer, or as an elder brother, you got to look for the safety of the younger ones, right? That's the main important thing. Maybe he or she is not throwing the left jab or right jab, left jab, right cross, but if the person is like hardly being able to, stand up, or like in Muay Thai also, you got to stop that old school mentality that you must go on. Like don't give up. Like मान्छे मर्न आँटिसक्यो उ त्यहाँ हार्ट अट्याक हुन आछ तपाईले गरेर हुँदैन. So in that case I would say go and tell the person, or like find a way that to say that, pass that message to them.
All right, noted.
But at the same time, what will I do about it? I think time comes.
मैले किन तपाईलाई सोधेको भने नि honestly किनभने like there's this thing called मैले नेपाल स्पेसिफिकली भनेको हैन, like इन्डिया नेपाल जहाँ यो भर्खर हुँदैछ नि. अनि मैले मेरो फर्स्ट एक्सपिरियन्स अफ एन्टरिङ अ जिम वाज इन इन्डिया, लाइक इन्डियामा मजाले भनौँ न. एन्ड देयर वाज दिस गाई टिचिङ लाइक leg locks, heel hooks and all in the first day of class.
Okay.
त्यति बेला I was like ambo, like that me. So अहिले सोच्दाखेरि you don't teach that to the beginner like who just walked in the class teaching like heel hooks, and that's like very little error, margin of error.
As what I say, safety. Safety first.
Then I thought that was super reckless. And that's a career changing move, हैन. त्यो घुँडामा affect हुन्छ. And मलाई त्यस्तो सोच्दाखेरि I'm like I could have, even before starting my journey, it could have gone south,
Sure. I think that is on now, especially Nepal. I was like content Nepal. We are on, like you say, we are in the beginning phase. So these things would still happen, and hopefully nothing serious goes wrong, and it doesn't come out in the media and saying like combat sport le gardai pharalana ko khutta chalena, and then it would pull us all down just even before we started it. That is like my a lot of concern about.
No, since you are so deep into the fitness scene in Kathmandu, there are like really good gyms coming up and stuff right now. So it's pretty exciting, I guess, for those who wanna learn and compete.
How did you find your way to Nepal back again?
How did I find my way back again? Well, I think I came to Nepal when I was like 8 years. When I was 8 years old, and then study in Future Star. My mom was working here with
my mom was a teacher at Future Star.
You have a
I studied at Future Star too. My first.
You have a family here too?
Yeah, my mom came here. She was working with Red Barna, Norwegian Save the Children. My mom worked with INGO field, so we came here, and then I started studying over here. So Nepal teaching. Also, then I've been back and forth.
Okay.
Been back and forth. Then after 7 years in the monastery, then I got a scholarship to IPC, International People College in Denmark. Then I went there for a year to study NGO management. Seeing my mom and coming from the monastery, you don't know. You've been taught that do whatever you want, but don't पाप नगर्नु भन्छ नि त. So जे हेर्नु त पापै हुन्छ. सब बेजियो भने नाफा खानु पर्यो, फटा गर्नु पर्यो, रेस्टुरेन्टको कुरा आउनै आएन. So the only feel like okay, let's help people भनेर चाहिँ so I moved into the NGO sector. And then after NGO sector, I wanted to have bring some color into it. That's when the hip-hop b-boy concept came in. And then but I think fighting have always been as a child in me, that
you had some street fights.
Couples.
No, I mean like growing up as a kid. I'm not saying like yesterday.
Right.
Everyone does.
Yes. I think I'm one of those kids, तपाईँले याद हुन्छ सबभन्दा सानो पुच्चे तर बढी like that. Do anything stone, टोक्ने जे भयो, doesn't matter what it takes. There's something like that. I had one incident when I was in school that स्कुलमा जाने हाम्रो यो Thailand bully garte ki मलाई जहिले पनि, and then one day he really beat me up very badly and then ran back home, and I said, Dad, look, I got beaten up. So my dad said, what are you going to do about it? Like, what are you going to do about it? I said, I don't know what I'm going to do about it. But and then next to it there's a Thai monastery where young kid comes and jump and swim over there. So that kid was over there. Then I ran to my dad again, like, he's the one who beat me up. And he said, he was my chakate. What are you going to do about it? Rambo started jump into the river and swim toward that. Then when they saw me coming, I don't think they were afraid of the knife in my mouth.
Navy SEAL.
They saw my father behind and they ran away again. They thought it was me. I don't know, maybe what was the reason.
Street fighting skills.
Yes, definitely.
The sense of awareness of the geography of the room or the street.
The culture of Muay Thai is super rich in Thailand. It's the mecca of Muay Thai.
Yeah, actually, okay, I can talk about the Muay Thai part. I don't think Muay Thai fighters are any better than other fighters in the world when it comes to skill or stamina or like technical part. But the will that is
hard people.
What you do is that
everyone's hard.
If you don't work, your land is going to be seized by the landowner. You have a rice field, you grow rice and it did not grow properly, and then you have borrowed a lot of money from some other business people. You have to pay the debt. So when that doesn't happen, as a young kid, you are the only source of income for them. So what you can do, either you study, which is too young to finish to get a job, you get into fight business, and then every time they fight, they don't see the belt. Honestly, they don't see the belt. They see their family mouth open up, waiting for that to come back. So that is what they drive in,
The stars all at a humble beginning, the broadcast and
everyone. You look back, they have a lot of debt to pay. And the saddest story is that some of them, even being a world champion,
the gyms and all,
they're going
under
back.
Contract.
You have a belt and you drive a tuk-tuk. Your hand is something you cannot tolerate. Fighting is it's not definitely.
It's one thing doing for fitness. It's another whole thing doing for competition.
For the pros, I would say that especially our younger who is coming up, like who want to be a real world champion. I'm not talking about world champion, but really, really like well paid. It's require a lot of dedication. You can go up to like good fight, getting a university scholarship, study as a doctor. That is one path. But if you want talking about getting bell like Conor McGregor and all these things that are going on.
How was one championship changed that in the Thai region?
One championship
I mean the super fight is coming up now. Rotangra, Mighty Mouse.
How is that gonna work out?
Two rounds.
First round is Muay Thai. Second round is MMA. Third round is Muay Thai again. Fourth round is MMA.
I was more than that fight. I feel like that is going to be like the selling point, like for entertainment part. Actually, not Bokau, Subban Banchamek and Petrosyan.
Petrosyan, that's the October 15th. You the December 15th. Mighty Mouse र Rotango चाहिँ.
The first
त्यो जुन चाहिँ मिकी दाले भनेको कार्ड जुन चाहिँ छ नि पेट्रोसन र सुबोबनको त्यो whole card is kickboxing and Muay Thai only and like all the fights starting from the prelims also they could have been a main event in themselves. So they are like packing it up and everyone's like world class world champions. Singapore man.
That would be like something would be
crazy.
Technical part.
1X is December 5th now where they are trying all these hybrid fights.
Something
first round advantage, wild advantage.
Cool, like, I know first round Muay Thai.
So the Muay Thai guy gets a
So he can
No, but Mighty
just
Mouse-
circle out for one like 3-5 minutes, survive and grapple the next round.
Mighty Mouse
and-
also has a pretty good stand-up knee. He's considered one of the greatest of all
Mighty
time.
Mouse is no joke either. Raptor Rotang is also like you
think
can't decide. This is one of those times you're like, what the hell is gonna happen?
In the first, if Rotang doesn't get Mighty Mouse for the first 2 rounds, then it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure Rotang is practicing some jiu-jitsu. Like, you better be like, you know.
Sprawl, go.
Yeah.
Sprawl.
Mika, what do you think about Nepalese people participating in the One Championship?
No doubt. We
It's gonna happen.
you know,
sooner or
no
later.
doubt. I think for now, I think boxing wise we're doing pretty well. I mean, like like you know, from where we were like 5 years ago, and now the scene is totally different. The skill, the enthusiastic, the promoters, the gym that's coming up, the dedication that's given by the youngsters there. And I think boxing is coming up very, very well. But beside that, we send an army to other country, man. You know, like that means that require stamina and guts, which is one of the main key as a fighter. You need it. So why not? You know, we have that in. हल्का weedy लाग्यो मैले थाई मान्छे भएर
उही नै हो नि अब
But
त honorary citizen नै हो नि already.
fighting is a totally level playing field नि त.
हजुर
You fight with the same weight category and त्यसमा चाहिँ height problem हरू हुन्न नेपालीहरुको त्यसो
हजुर
and because height is a major factor.
रोताङसँग
Any other sports है अब
Height is a major factor के.
हाम्रो बास्केटबल त्यो म्याचेसहरु हेर्दाखेरि क्या
हजुर
नेपाल भर्सेस इन्डिया खेलाइ चाहिँ अब इन्डिया
हाम्रो पन्जाबीहरु क्या लम्बो हुन्छ आम्बो
अब इन्डिया त झन् सोच्न अब दे लाइक 1 point something billion people 11 जना निकालिहाल्छ नि त्यो पनि अब sad थियो
in that part in combat, especially MMA fight, height distance is okay. I mean they have advantage over there, but if you're strong and your eye is fast enough, you just have to, you know, held up the guard and walk in and chop the tree from the down and then move upwards. You see all those when they have fight K1 or something, tall Thai guy like
Dutch style.
So you work inside work on the person. Oh, we got to get used to getting punched and kicked on the face, which I don't think that would be a hard thing to do, as you know, if we train properly. Safety दुखेन नि त जति जे हाने पनि केही छैन नि. It's like holding a pad. That way Nepalमा त I think it will be. I'm more concerned about the career lifespan of combat fighters in Nepal. That's what that's my concern.
Or how they can monetize their journey or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Talking about boxing.
हजुर.
अहिले कुनै सेलेक्सनहरु हुँदै रहेछ नि हैन?
For Russia हैन?
For what?
Serbia.
Belgrade or something.
हजुर.
गर्दै.
आज भइरहेको थियो.
आज
Boxing.
भोलि पर्सि छ हैन?
So those who get selected from this would go to Serbia and compete, or how does that work?
You know, can I say the prize money?
Prize money त भन्नु मिल्छ होला नि हैन? $100,000.
Damn.
Damn.
Nice. So it's like a worldwide event.
I think it's one of the first times the amateur Muay getting that.
Damn.
It's not a pro fight, it's amateur tournaments.
त्यही त म अघि
Nasty.
गएको बुढोहरू पनि
Nasty.
everyone is
Secure the bag.
Secure the bag. I thought he was a coach, man.
Coach भनेको कि लाग्छ भाइ.
It's like actually
हामी गीतालाई पनि देखिरहेको क्या.
$100,000.
मी गीता कोचको कोच भएर आउनु भएको भन्दा कहाँ भाइ टक्कै बक्सिङ.
It was reflecting in the match पनि क्या अब त्यो बाउले छोरालाई कुटेको जस्तो कुटेको
Talking about like boxing and injuries and fighting.
हजुर.
We can talk about like you and me every time we sit we talk about fights.
yeah.
I don't remember we talk about anything.
Anything else? No,
Like,
nothing.
we're just talking about fighting, right?
Khao pad thai,
Uh-huh.
somtam, everything and then fight.
Fight.
एकछिन कुरा खाना कुरा चाहिँ फेरि fight हुन्छ.
तपाईँको कालिम्पोङको एक्सपिरियन्सहरू तर मैले लाइक
हजुर.
आई डिडन्ट नो द्याट पार्ट अबाउट योर लाइफ अनि ठ्याक्कै अघि बोल्दाखेरि आई सेन्स्ड इट के कालिम्पोङको जस्ट हिट मी
अम्बो.
क्यु खाले त्यस्तोहरू हुन्छ नि
त्यस्तो. Because mom is from Darjeeling, right? So
Yes, Dazzling blood.
Dazzling from Dazzling, and then yeah. So monastery, I think we learn basically monastery really humble me up. Take them, you're from family where babysitting was there, and once you're there, you just learn that it's not that no Didi, no Aya is going to help you there. You got to take care of yourself. Yes, in a monastery, it's a peaceful where you learn peace. But the thing is that people keep mistaking this. Yeah.
But along those lines, were there any fights in monastery? किनभने अब पिसफुल सोच्छ नि त हैन तर यति मान्छे केटाहरुलाई
I see like monasteries and सानो सानो बच्चाहरु हुन्छ नि monksहरु I would see these marks on their heads
हजुर
अनि I thought it was just that's how they caught it or something like that but त्यो हिर्काउँदै रहेछ नि टाउको
sometimes
त्यो पढाउँदाखेरि हो
old school style now they are not allowed it I didn't allow छैन के legally
there were some monasteries asi news ma आको कि मैले त्यसले पठाएको I guess because some were talking about sexual harassment in monasteries and all
that's like Catholic Church also
everywhere
I think it's more of like from my experience of being in a monastery yourself, I would say that it's not no way it's not good, but at the same time, it's what you call.
Just like anything else, not perfect.
Things happen and all. Yeah. I mean, like, did we went through it? Were we one of them? Those things were more of like what you would say is like, you go to a certain phases, yeah? And then if you're lucky. You not go through that. If you're unlucky, then you are become in that be in that situation. के
भन्छ त्यो त जहाँ पनि I feel like जहाँ power and religion they mix no the power structure and anywhere like all religion
and everywhere you put like hundreds of hormone raging guys together there's bound to be certain things
still going back, it's not right, it's not correct, it's very wrong. At the same time, it did happen. I would not deny it. And it does happen. And then it's something interesting. We used to fun.
Outingहरु पाउँथ्यो तपाईहरुले के
पाउँथेन फिल्म हेर्नु पाउँथेन नि
पाउँथेन
तपाईहरु फुटबल खेल्थ्यो त्यहाँ
अनि यहाँको लामाहरु घुम्दिरहेको हुन्छ त फिल्म हलहरुमा
the thing is that हाम्रो मोनास्ट्री के थियो एकदम स्ट्रिक्ट थियो we were not allowed to wear shoes slippers shoes लगाए पनि must be no white no Nike forget it
no Jordans
no not that type अनि
party shoes
त्यसो छैन allowed छैन हाम्रो टाइममा चाहिँ है I think
अनि मैले देखेको मङ्गले तर त्यो रातो कन्भर्स लाउँथे नि
लाउँछ
त्यो चाहिँ राम्रो कुल देख्थ्यो
हजुर even if the shoes have white sole also was not allowed I think I was from a very strict very strict monastery that we like football त लुकेर full moon night खेल्थ्यो फुल मुन हुन्छ नि
राति फुटबल खेल्ने
राति फुल मुनमा मोजाहरु जम्मा गरेर प्लास्टिक
त्यो दुर्पिन डाँडाको मोनास्ट्रीमा देव सीएसटी पनि हैन
हजुर हजुर छ
सीएसटी भनेको
सेन्ट्रल स्कुल फर टिबेटन
दार्जिलिङमा पनि छ त माल रोडमा
सो त्यहाँ सीएसटी हरुमा चाहिँ आएर कपल अफ फ्रेन्ड्स फ्रम सीएसटी
हजुर
स्कलरहरु
मेरो स्कुलको टिचर पनि थियो हामी बास्केटबल कोच थियो सो व्हाट यु युज्ड टु टेल मी वाज देयर वाज नथिङ बिसाइड्स अ बास्केटबल कोर्ट या सो ऑल डे दे युज्ड टु प्ले एन्ड दे युज्ड टु एक्सेल एट बास्केटबल So I met a lot of interesting characters from CST who were very good at basketball, man.
So MS को coach पनि CST के थियो दार्जिलिङको CST के थियो हैन he was a good basketballer man I still remember
cool
MS को coach थियो के
he used to TTC मा थियो
ए
के पो छैन
तेन्जिङ पाला
त्यो मस्टाङ्स बाट खेल्ने ओके that guy was good
टिबेटन खाना तपाईलाई टिबेटन खाना र थाई खानामा चुज गर्नु पर्यो भने
I can't दुईटै really I think it's I'm one of person who when I'm in Nepal I would go fully for Tibetan and Nepali food when I'm in Thailand I would go fully for Thai food I would not look for but craving चाहिँ हुन्छ है craving like this 2 years
Thai food पनि त्यो
oh my goodness
इसान को दामी लाग्छ लाइक
अब नेवारी फुड जस्तो मिल्छ नि
अलि
मिल्छ नेवारी फुड जस्तो
yeah Kathmanduमा what's it like which place would you recommend like if you want to have like authentic
cafe fika होइन मिकी दाले त्यहाँ लाइफ टाइम वारेन्टी खालको कार्ड पाएको छ भन्ने मैले सुनेको थिएँ
मेम्बरशिप
ए हो
जिमाम्सले दियो अरे नि मिकी दालाई मिकी दाको
Yes, give us some reviews.
My wife was very happy with it.
Well played, G-Mams. Well played.
Your whole family is
more like
Nepal.
fusion.
Also, my mom is here. My dad is in Thailand now.
Okay.
So, Nepal saying I would recommend what Thai walk.
Oh, Thai walk.
You know
that Thai walk it's like a very कस्तो भन्ने hidden खाले
तैले भनेको
मलाई अक्षर लाग्यो फर्स्ट मा चाहिँ त्यो सानो गौचर छ नि सानो गौचर ग्राउन्ड छ नि
Do we gotta go there?
It's like a house.
Advisorly दियो सर recommend.
आज खुला हुन्छ?
It's a house के
Saturday छुट्टी.
I mean, I just had Thai food last night, in a place called Kura Thai.
Bad. त्यो Thai walk चाहिँ it's just a small family of I think they're mixed, right?
Yeah.
तर
I think the husband is Nepali.
Nepali,
I think I'll go ahead and say this.
I really want to have. I've heard a lot about morning glory. साग हुन्छ नि
सागै त हो
इट्स साग नि
सागै त हैन
हजुर
त्यो मर्निङ ग्लोरी भन्छ नि
कस्तो त्यो
त्यो के त्यो हरियो हुन्छ नि मेन इंग्लिशमा मर्निङ ग्लोरी लेखिरहेको हुन्छ के साग रायोको साग रायोको साग के साग आई डोन्ट नो चाइनिज के भन्छ उहाँ
हजुर
एउटा अब होस् म नाम त भन्दिनँ कि रेस्टुरेन्टको यही झम्सिकेल साइडमा एउटा थाई रेस्टुरेन्टमा खाएँ कि
यो पडकास्टमा आउनेहरू चाहिँ ब्यान हुन्छ होला कहीँ रेस्टुरेन्ट अर्गनाइजेसनबाट
हैन पाकबुङ
फाक्बुङ फाक्बुङ या फाक्बुङ you fried with garlic, red chili, soy sauce, little bit of sugar.
Man,
Hot
you were like a lot. You cook us
Yeah.
a lot, no? I see. I'm like, man, that looks like hoti dami.
Love cooking.
हाम्रो स्कुलमा थाइ केटाहरूले they used to bring a lot of that soy sauce, the
Fish
Maggi
sauce, Maggi sauce.
Cheat code क्या त्यसो जे नमिठो हस्टेलमा चाहिँ जे नमिठो भयो भने त्यो एक बुन्द क्या एक बुन्दमा डिल
Sauce
हुन्छ
Maggi.
ओइ 8 5 सम्म भने अहिया दिन्थ्यो
तर थाइल्यान्डमा 7-11 छिर्दा चाहिँ
है,
तिम्रो सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन चाहिँ त्यहाँ टेस्ट हुन्छ खासमा
किन
अब के चिज लान्दैनस् क्या अब त्यहाँ बेसी सामानहरू देखेर अब होइन अलिकति कोइन सोइनहरू खर्च गर्न मन परिहाल्छ अन्त एन्ड यु आर लिभिङ विथ पकेट फुल अफ स्न्याक्स
पोइन्टहरू पाउँछ
हाम्रो उतापट्टि आउने थाई केटाहरू चाहिँ आउडे हुन्थे
अम्बो
के गर्दैन
इङ्ग्लिस मात्रै बोल्नु हुन्थ्यो कि
त्यो पनि नसिकेर जान्थ्यो
इङ्ग्लिस मात्रै सिक्नु हुन्थ्यो कि तर थाई मात्रै बोल्थ्यो तर एकजना मैले भने नि के पहिला एकजना चाहिँ बुली थियो
फापङ के भन्ने फापङ कि
रेस्ट इन पीस he passed away right?
He was a very good swimmer.
He was a really good swimmer, but he had done like proper Muay Thai training and he was a gangster type guy in Bangkok ma chai. So his parents like sent him over to Darjeeling to our school. Chipot hai हामी क्लास 6-7 मा हुँदा उ खासमा कलेजमा हुनुपर्ने मान्छे अझै पनि 10 मा छ खालको के बुल्ली नि अब Muay Thai सिकेर आएको हैन सबलाई हिकाइदिन्थ्यो अब धन्य थ्याङ्क गड मैले चाहिँ भेटेन है मेरो साथीहरूले चाहिँ भेट्यो अब राति डममा सुतिरहेको बेलामा पनि अब उसको बेडमा बिस्तारै चप्पल खोलेर हिँड्नुपर्ने टाइप क्या अब बुल्ली मान्छे द्याट्स वान अफ द केसेस वेयर लाइक combat sport doesn't like teach you to be aggressive. It just reveals and amplifies. If you're a dick, you'll be a bigger dick. You know?
True.
If you're a nice guy, if you're a funny, like whatever your personality, it just magnifies and amplifies it. It doesn't alter it anyway. I know.
Like misusing it.
Misusing at that point, he was kind of misusing it. I know. At one point, then it became too much, and this high school full group, 30 jana jasto aera त्यसलाई रफ अप गरिदिएको यस्तो नमिठो धुलाइदिएको सो द्याट आफ्टर द्याट चाहिँ हम्बल्ड
तर त्यसको अब
ब्रो त्यसले अब हाम्रो फुटबल टिमको गोलकिपरलाई एल्बोले आँखा झन्डै फुटाइदिएको अब त्यो बिचरा दार्जिलिङको केटाहरूलाई Muay Thai भन्ने थाहा हुँदैन नि उनीहरूलाई त अब ड्याङ हेलमेटले हिर्काउने त्यस्तोहरू मात्रै आउँछ होइन त्यसले चाहिँ के भयो भनेर चाहिँ सर्ट एल्बो क्या यो खोलिहाल्यो होइन त्यसपछि हेड किक स्कुलमा ब्रो एन्ड द्याट गाइ इज लाइक
He was the guy who said I want to use hand and kicked him, no?
फेरि अर्को केटालाई चाहिँ बास्केटबल खेल्दै गर्दा होइन रिबाउन्डमा कि केमा एल्बोले लागेछ कि जन्नको रिसायो एन्ड ही वाज यस्तो हाँसुर्दो है हिज लाइक होइन म यता हातले हिकाउँदिनँ भनेर पछाडि हात राख्दै छेउमा गएर चाहिँ लातले हिकाइदिएको मुखमा बुली नै हो लाइक अ टिपिकल बुली लाइक अनि एनिवे ही गट सर्टेड आउट and later on I don't know he passed away got into the bad line again after going back to Thailand and stuff.
That's one thing with this Muay Thai when you are involved in the gambling part, okay? It's very hard to get away from it. Like you deal with you go around with not wrong people but different paths, you know. Godfathers and all who run the whole industry of gambling things, and then
so they need like henchmen or type thing.
They use it. I mean, like, I think now Muay Thai have evolved into a better image, or even most of the combat sport now we have a better image, and it's been like polished up and understand, you know, like more kind of philosophy, or people with positive thinkers have been involved in this. Okay? Now the sport is turning for the better. That's what I'm going to tell to Divis and you guys. Like, I understand that our industry or the organization that's running the combat sport over here is not perfect, but at the same time, I think if you don't like something in your life, what are you going to do about it? You got to fix it. So be in the system. I really request most of the entrepreneurs who are in this combat industry is that, you know, get into the system, stand into the sport committee, go for it. Malay politics man parदैन यो मन पर्दैन. Yeah, I understand. I also don't like the sun, but what you do?
You suck it up.
It's summer, you know. के गर्ने त मलाई पनि घाम मन पर्छ, गर्मी भएछ समर जानै पर्यो नि. If you can handle the heat in the kitchen, you know, like you got to do it. Work for it, man, and then you're not only you will enjoy it at that particular moment. When you get older, you look back, you enjoy it one more time. And your next generation coming after that, hey, you know, they will be proud of you. I think that's something that I think anyone who is into this industry, I really would be wonderful to see you guys step into the platform and podium, and you know, I mean, parliament sucks, I think, but it's time to change, especially for Nepal now.
You started the Muay Thai for like anti-drugs
Hazur. In Thailand we had this campaign, like we have big drug problem in Thailand, so and then they start promoting Muay Thai against drugs. They were on the workshop त्यहाँबाट सुरु भएको थियो के. It was done by royal family who promoted also.
The Netflix movies and Prayer Before Dawn भन्ने.
It's a real story, you know?
Yeah.
It's a really nice story. Does that really happen? अहिले पनि like often.
हुन्छ होला नि हैन.
It's all spiced up, but it's still there. It's still there.
त्यो Dave Ledoux भन्ने छ नि लेथवेको के, the face of Lethway right now. He went for one of those, no? He was a Muay Thai fighter previously.
Prisoners.
Yeah, he went fought the prisoners.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's a new project, very new project. I'm surprised that it came into media. Media ma आज म छक्कै परेँ.
The Thai prison ko system is pretty intense, right?
Oh, you don't want to be there.
Fuck, it's pretty intense, right?
I think every prison sucks, but in Thailand it's totally different.
They jam up like 50 people into a very small room, right?
Rati ta uthera, you would not want to get up in the middle of the night and go to take a piss, because when you come back you don't have place to sleep. It's already like squeeze body.
Claustrophobia and being in a prison is like my worst.
And that's not for the drugs case. Drugs are totally different. These are just like normal cases.
Like theft, no?
हजुर, hustlers and all those. Drugs are got अर्कै हुन्छ नि. Then you're on the row, death penalty हुन्छ नि.
It's pretty.
Yeah, we still have death penalty in Thailand.
It's pretty extreme, right?
Yes.
Even for weed, I think.
Yeah, now they have lightened up.
I mean, they have medical marijuana these days, right? In Thailand.
No comment. No, I think now they have legalized it. So I think it's because I started my b-boy with, you know, when we started b-boying, say no to drugs and all stuff. And then, but I think now when this is what I think, when people know the limit to do stuff, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's better, like it's for better place. Now the government have authorized certain license, certain restaurant, coffee shop to have omelette ma hash.
John Island John.
Phat kaphao ma तपाईँको
मजाको
त्यो
भइदिएको
माथि राखिदिने बेसल फ्राई बेसलसँग लिभ्सहरू पनि राखिदिने त्यस्तो पनि चलिरहेको छ.
That's the whole thing with Utyo, no? Like illegal बनाउने, like when you make it illegal, like you cannot sell anything, no research can be done on it, then you don't know how much this needs to be consumed, how much this needs to be in use. Alcohol जस्तो छ नि हैन, alcohol को there actually चाहिँ limit हुनु पर्ने हो. हामी यहाँ त 0 tolerance छ, तर बाहिरतिर त there is a legal limit that you can drink भनेर. But that happened because of research, no? So people, because alcohol is
and अहिले 2 drinks are in the बाहिरको limit हो,
something like the blood alcohol level त्यो
लेभलमा छ कि.
So अब आफै हेरेर गर्नु पर्यो. अब त्यहाँ एक्ज्याक्ट त्यो नम्बर आउनु पर्दैन, त माथि तल अलिकति मिल्छ. त that happened because of research, हैन, because alcohol is legal. But अरु चीजहरुमा त्यो गर्न मिल्दैन because it's illegal अब थाहै छैन. So everyone is just abusing it, dengue.
I think when it comes to THC or marijuana, like grass and all stuff, there should be, I would not say age limit, but I think you have to see the situation and take it. You don't want we don't want any of our brother and sister doing it. Honestly, isn't it? Like school going 5 class, go 6 class, 8 class of it's like it's not that right now. But for medical terms and for the certain stress relief and all, I don't think it's wrong. But at the same time, that it's our duty as adults that to make them understand.
What do you think about CBD for athletes to recover?
So far, it's very vague right now, but the science have proved like it helps. But at the same time, it's like, okay, 80%, 100% your recovery patterns are CBD and nutrition, rest, and diet is only 15 to 20%. Yeah, the rest is rest. Sleep, man. You got to sleep. I mean, कसरी सुत्छ थाहा छैन त सुत्नै पर्छ तपाईले. You got to sleep, man. Like के गरेर सुत्नै पर्छ. No choice. No PUBG, no Instagram, nothing. You sleep means you literally got to, if you are going pro, that's what you need. And then because research shows that पहिला त हामीले गर्थ्यौं नि everyday training गर्नु हुँदैन, injured हुन्छ. No, everyday गर्नु पर्छ, तर एउटा लिमिटले गरेर सुत्नु चाहिँ पर्छ. Because our body so smart that we are able to adapt and heal it on time. Okay? So it doesn't mean that you go and run karanga sala 15 round every day, parafit 25 choti, and it's at the end, before you become a champion, you get sunburn and freckles. Yeah? And it doesn't help so much when it comes to that. I used to be one of the old school Kamal Pokhri coach. That time Gurule sikaउने हामीलाई. He used to make us run from Krishna Parvati देखि कहाँसम्म हो पशुपति 2 round गराउँथे हामीलाई every day. And I used to have me and my friend, हामी चाहिँ के गर्थ्यौ नि आधी बाटोमा अटो रिक्सा पक्ने.
If you are not cheating, you are trying hard enough.
आइपुग्यो भन्ने कि हामीले त. It was like, I think now we have so much technology.
Yeah, along those lines, I see you have dove deep into strength and conditioning. Yeah, strength and conditioning. Thanks, bro. And all the Fildarus stuff and all. Please say something.
Timorko fight money. I saw Miki Dai like making other people cut weight.
So basically, strength and conditioning is like athlete are the race car, we are the mechanic, right? So we are supposed to build up every athlete have their own weak point and plus point. So basically what we do is that we try to make everything balanced at the same time without affecting the skill. So if this is the athlete, this is the skill coach, and we have to work around the skill coach and the athlete. So as a strength conditioning coach, we cannot say that coach उहाँलाई 3 round मात्रै प्याड हान्नु left hook नहान्नुस् त्यस भन्न मिल्दैन के. We have to make sure that the athlete can hit the hook on the pad at any time without getting his shoulder getting worse. So basically that's what we are coming into basically म भन्ने चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ. So we have to work around the skill coach, and then we support not only physical, mentally also. We supposed to sit down, talk with the fighters, you know, like meeting you up, like okay, I did the podcast, but otherwise I would still meet DVs and talk hard, you know, like out of subject, not even about fight subject, psychology पनि भयो अनि neuronsहरु कुरा आयो. Like अहिले चाहिँ now what is interesting from what I find interesting is that neurons को कुराहरु आइराछ, brain receptorहरु कसरी काम गर्छ अनि how stress in the family affect the fighters, what is bothering them, you know, now it's beyond the के भन्छ
fighting.
Yeah, कसले धेरै punch हान्नु सक्छ, कसले धेरै kick हान्नु सक्छ 1 minute भित्र. It's not that anymore. Now it's not that. It's like you now I think combat sport is becoming next के भन्ने अब तपाईको next NFL जस्तै होला. It's going to become more धेरै nation involved हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. So strength conditioning, sorry, Divas was asking what I'm planning to do with it, हैन?
हजुर.
So right now I'm working on a project called NCSP, Nepal Combat Sport Performance. So basically my goal in this is not to open a gym, not to make a world champion in anything, but I just want to make sure that whether in boxing, in Muay Thai, in BJJ, or some of the judo ko त्यति feel छैन. I want all of the sports to have at least awareness of there is thing called combat sport performance, so that they can take care of their own athlete in their field.
In the recent years, there's been a lot of influx of Chinese people in Thailand. Right?
हजुर. I think Thailand and China have always been a very close ally, very very close ally. अनि यो पडकास्टले चाहिँ मलाई थाइल्यान्ड र टिबेटन कम्युनिटीमा छिन्न नपाउँला छ भन्नु लाग्यो.
हामी अर्कै कम्युनिटी थाल्नु आँटेको छ त यहाँ.
Yeah, like, you sure you want to talk about it? I've always stayed away from, you know, like small politics. Now you're talking about nationwide. King and China, Tibet. So dead.
There was one Thai politician who owned a club named
Thailand,
Leicester, right?
Yeah, football.
Yeah.
King Power ko owner, no?
King Power ko owner.
He was a
He
was a minister or something?
No, he was just businessman.
Super rich.
Yeah, okay.
All the duty free in Thailand belongs to him.
Oh,
Leicester.
King
Power.
हाम्रो नेपाली मामसित भक्कु किन्यो होला है ड्युटी फ्रीमा. चेक गर्यो भने क्या खट्टु रक्सीको सेक्सनमा चाहिँ नेपाल हाइएस्ट थियो होला. म्याक्सिमम लिमिट बोकेर अझै त्यो साइडकोमा पनि तिमी किन्दैनौ तिम्रो चलाउँ गाडी.
I've had a lot of people come to me also.
कोटा छ. तर मिडल इस्टतिर त थाल्नु भन्दै रहेछ नि.
यो
I like recently मलाई कोले भनेको थियो बिचारा पुरा अब उसको चाहिँ ट्रान्जिट थियो त्यहाँदेखि.
ए ट्रान्जिट पनि फाल्दिएको?
अनि ड्युटी फ्री बोकेर आएर बिचारा सब खनाउन.
हजुर.
ए अनि तपाईको अब लाइफ एक्सपिरियन्सेसले नै होला. I think and know you of like being kind of a linguist. You speak so many languages.
I think I mean we speak pretty similar language.
You speak Nepali, of course.
Nepali,
English, Thai,
Tibetan, Bhutanese,
Hindi, Dzongkha.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's like 6, 7.
Where did you learn Dzongkha? In Kalimpong?
Urdu.
Well, Dzongkha was when Kalimpong बाट हाम्रो साथीहरु Bhutanese धेरै थियो.
There's a lot of people in Bhutanese people in Kalimpong.
त राजाको बर्थडेमा लान्थे नि तिनीहरु. मलाई लाग्दो भएर क्लासमा बसिरहेको हुन्थे.
अनि रेड राइस खाइकन फर्किन्थे.
भुटान भन्दाखेरि त्यहाँ स्टेप अप अघि कुरा गरेको थियो नि. स्टेप अपमा एउटा ज्याकेट लाथ्यो नि भुटानमा.
त्यो पानीको सिनमा क्या.
That was their अब कार्ड.
त्यो सिन रिलिज भएपछि नि हाम्रो स्कुलको केटाहरु एन्ड प्लस आई रिमेम्बर आडिडासको ज्याकेट के आडिडासको हैन
हजुर
अन्त ऑरेन्ज कलरको के त्यो मुभी निस्केपछि हाम्रो छुट्टी पछि त्यहाँ सब भुटनिस केटाहरु त्यो ज्याकेट मात्रै रहेर आउँछ हो एन्ड आई क्यान सी देयर प्र्याक्टिसिङ लाइक दैट मुभ के लाइक
पानीमा
एन्ड टिम्बरल्यान्डको गीतहरु बज्थ्यो नि त्यति बेला हैन बी चल्दिरहेको हामी नेपाल केटाहरु चाहिँ भाइ लाग्दो भइकन हुन्छ नि के गरेको
लेवै जुत्तामा
especially after I was introduced to Bhutanese food and त्यसपछि त्यो यस्तो लोभ लाग्थ्यो त्यो राजाको बर्थडेमा लाँदाखेरि
Bhutanese food even it's pretty good
क्लासमा आएर बोलाउँथे सर can I please take sonam bhutia भनेर लग्दियो अब हामी
चाहिँ I mean like it's too rich and heavy के
एकदम हेभी छ
2 दिन खान्छ सर कि त्यसपछि सक्दैन त
रेड राइस पक
एमा केवा सबै हुन्छ नि त्यो रेड राइस यति कहाँ ने व्हाइट राइस जति खान सक्दैन नि
काठमाडौँमा त डेचिलिङ मात्रै होला हैन
त्यसैन
अरूमा त छैन बुद्धिस्ट फुड त
And after a couple of days it gets hackneyed के बुझिस् म भुटान भिजिट गर्न जाँदा फर्स्ट 2 दिन चाहिँ भक्कु खाएँ हैन त्यसपछि आई रिमेम्बर आई वाज लुकिङ फर इन्डियन रेस्टुरेन्ट के दाल रोटी खाइदिउँ न
Bhutan is very I used to work with the royal family in Bhutan also and I used to serve one of the son
so you were a bodyguard ADC or something
not exactly the ADC but as a security person
You're a bodyguard to the prince?
How's it?
You're a bodyguard to the prince?
Not the prince. Actually, he was the nephew of the king. Yeah, that's the other. To wait here, serving manjante.
Tabli, sorry. Tabli, कुनी क्लबहरु कि कुनी कुन चाहिँमा bodyguardहरुलाई ट्रेनिङ दिन्थ्यो
हजुर फर्स्टमा एक्चुअली
बाउन्सरहरुलाई
हजुर हाम्रो थमेलमा सिक्युरिटी सुरु गर्ने टाइममा हजुर त्यतिबेला चाहिँ मलाई त्यो चाहिँ पाएको थियो कन्ट्र्याक्ट काकाहरु कोटा ल्याउँछ
हजुर तपाईको डाइभर्सिटी इन योर एक्सपीरियन्स cuz I feel a human I'm like nobody in front of your experiences right? And I feel a person is defined by their experiences in life good or bad or so and the topic experiences सुन्दाखेरि I'm like man that's a lot of एउटा लाइफमा 7 वटा ल्याङ्ग्वेज बोल्नु भनेको त्यो त अब
for me I would say that I've lived a pretty interesting life I still enjoy and now what I'm enjoying is that when I'm looking back I'm like I'm still enjoying it again okay I did it like who knew that like कति 10 वर्षपछि I would sit down and still talk what I did 10 years ago with the young people
and do experiences through all religion and geography and geographical differences cultural differences has it helped you have this kind of ego death ko death
man
or you feel you still have that the ego that one that wants to control your actions and behavior
it's less now
it's less ego ko death bhako cha ki ajai body
no fine I think it very like what you said it have reduced my ego more and more like last time I just said like I can't afford ego it's too expensive seriously it's too expensive it take your friends take your family it just make you miserable but at the same time you should know when to stand up for your own self like
and what you believe in
basic rules do not harm people who are weaker than you respect your elders that's just basically there's two things that is what I mean when you say self-respect I don't mean that I have I'm one of the few who have strength and conditioning certification with Fielder Rule in Asia. No, that is not self-respect. That is goddamn feel fully ego. But when I'm willing to, whether you pay me or you don't pay me, I will still train you as equal as it is. That's what I mean, self-respect. It's everyone have something better than you somehow. Man. The day you realize you think that you're better than others, that's when you're
not growing.
You're going down wrong path. You're going the wrong path. That is so important. And I still struggle sometimes. I would not deny like when I see some of my friends, some of younger juniors trying to do what I already did or what I'm trying to say. It's like only mere copy go. But then my conscious come in. It's like no man, you inspired him and he's doing a good thing for himself. So you should enjoy it. Why feeling that? We all I got it from YouTube. I just pay more attention in it and get it down to depth in. And then a younger brother just don't like what I did and he's doing it again. It should not be like हाम्रो त्यो कल्चरमा छ नि अहिले त मैले यो गरे उले पनि गर्यो कपी गर्यो भन्ने टाइपको that's like it's okay look in the positive way you're senior take care of the younger ones and that's how it goes. You don't pull others one another so much. Type of thing.
Interesting.
So यो पार्ट चाहिँ जिम खानाले मलाई निकाल्दियो कामबाट काटै यो शब्दहरु ब्रो
भइहाल्छ
मेन्सन गरेछ काट्नै मेन्सन गर्नु भयो त
म के बनाएको कस्तो एउटा हाँसउठ्दो कुरा बनाएको थिएँ कि
सिरियस
सिरियस भइदिएर ए अनि त्यही अब अगेन कमिङ ब्याक टु स्ट्रिट फाइट होइन which art do you think is, in your opinion, is the best to learn in a street fight?
Do we have like specific? We must use a specific martial art.
Oh, like yeah, for you to start with street fight.
Wow.
Muay Thai.
Yeah. For me,
I would say Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Or boxing.
Is anything allowed, or just bare hands?
Like bare hands, but not for now.
Bare hands. Sorry, man. I will go for Krav Maga.
Crotch grabbing.
No, man. You have a fork in your hand.
Yeah.
You know the man is flying elbows coming or right hook coming. You just
poke him. Yeah.
just keep it over there. It's going to stab inside. You know, like. But in like bare hand, definitely Muay Thai. Definitely Muay Thai. It's combined. Now the thing is that people think that Muay Thai is designed with one form, like one style. But actually Muay Thai was, the word Muay itself means fist. Right? So
Thai means Thai.
Thai means Thai, right? Fist. Thai is a tribe.
Yeah.
It's a tribe. That's the tribe. So it's Muay Thai. That's where fist actually is come from. And it was not designed for martial arts for game. It was designed for combat.
Like during the war times, right?
Yeah. You were supposed to fight a person with
flying knee and all.
Yeah, you know, like sword, and you have empty hand. So you don't have.
That was the same thing with all Lethway and all stuff too, right?
You aim for the throat, crotch, anything that you got. Then slowly, when Thai open up for world, you know, what do you call business and all, then they start to evolve into like more.
Muay Thai also brings in a lot of tourists.
For sure.
Give Nepal 5 years, I'm sure we have a very good Muay Thai. Give Nepal 5 years. I'm working on this project on the Muay Thai development. Right, so while all my friends are working on promoting fights and having, you know, event going on, I'm working on the
athletes.
Yeah,
we're gonna bring the entertainment.
We're going to bring the coach. Referee coach, so who can train our referee over here, judges who can train our judges over here how to score properly Muay Thai style, and then a coach to train a coach. You know what I mean? So we'll have a full set, so that no athlete will have to like give up his fight because one of the panel did not like him.
Does that happen often?
Yeah,
it happens everywhere.
They are very incompetent, no?
Yeah. So in some cases, like it's all, you know. So I think at least that is one thing I really wanted to do for the Muay Thai culture in Nepal, is that like bring up to not better, but to a standard where like what you call it's become entertained. Like
it attracts people.
To pay to watch. Yeah. That's when we fighters get paid.
But what you said was very interesting, Agi, because to feed the families, they have nothing but fighting. And that's why you see very small kids in the gym all day with swollen eyes and bruises. अस्ति तैँले पठाएको डकुमेन्ट्री थियो एउटा के अरे त्यो फ्र्याङ्क ग्रेलोको फाइट वर्ल्ड त्यसमा पनि राम्रो देखाएको थियो
नेटफ्लिक्समा छ कि एउटा फाइट वर्ल्ड भन्ने हेर्नु नि इट्स प्रिटी गुड
ए त्यो what's the guy's name?
Frank Grillo.
That's the one with that's the one with the kid with the full on blue eye, na?
That was Lethway. There's like episodes, na? Every episode this guy goes to different countries and like trains in their martial art. Like Mexico ma go boxing, Thailand ma Muay Thai.
Was your king into Muay Thai?
Rama the 9 not so much. I think he was more on agriculture and development. I think we have one king. I think he was not as the king of Thailand for full time. We call him Pachao Sua. Sua means tiger. So Tiger King basically. He was fully into combat.
Sua means a funny guy or something also, no?
Sua is
sorry.
Bate.
I'm just Bate.
You know like
त्यही त मलाई टाइम टु टाइम मान्छेहरूले सुर भन्दै के म चाहिँ के भन्नु खोजेको
He called me tiger.
विकी दाइ के भनेको
Tiger
No, besides just Muay Thai and all, Thailand also has a very rich culture in art and
Yes.
architecture.
I think we got it from the age, the duration time ko naam nahi birsegyo, where it was open for business. So all of Portuguese, Japan,
Punjabis.
From India also,
Yeah.
a lot of people came in. So that's where all this Thai
Cultures
food,
are
yeah,
clashed
more than 50% are mixed on it.
त्यही त त्यहाँ त हाम्रो ब्रो अब थाई पन्जाबीज हुन्छ नि क्या what a breed क्या like you will never expect them to speak Thai हैन म त सस्रीकाल भन्नु रेडी कि हाम्रो थाईमा बोलिदिन्छ अब अन्त साथीहरू छ मेरो 2-3 जना हैन उनीहरू त 4th 5th जेनेरेसन
त्यहाँको टेम्पलहरूको त्यो आर्किटेक्चर एन्ड अल मजाको थियो नि त्यो
ब्रो लाइक त्यो honestly के थाइल्यान्डमा ब्याङ्ककमा अब हार्ट अफ द सिटीमा द बेस्ट one of the highest real estate owners are like Punjabis के होटलहरुदेखि लिएर त्यो नि अब मेन जग्गामा के
I think
like central heart of the city अन्त हिस्ट्री बुझ्दाखेरि पहिला राजाहरूले खुसी भएर ट्रेडले गर्दा दिएको रहेछ कि I'm like okay
पन्जाबीजहरु underrated रहेछ है as businessmen cuz त्यो
म्यानचेस्टरको
युनाइटेडको पछाडी देखिरहन्छ रे पन्जाबीजहरु like probably have like lifetime
तिनीहरुको त्यो पनि थियो नि इन्टरभ्यु सुनेको छस् हेभी ब्रिटिश एक्सेन्ट म्यानचेस्टर
I'm probably sure they're like 2nd generation 3rd generation
के अलिक बेसी नै होला 4th 5th होला
and then places like Canada and all also like many Punjabis
नव भाटियाहरु छ नि
they are really hard working breed no and they are also very के भन्ने not really even they are really rich as shit like they do their part of dharma and karma also
they contribute to the community
bro like my personal story you know like I used to be damn broke in Thailand training I think I told you also this before and I had barely money to pay the college and for training I wanted to train more and more but obviously it takes money to train no so I just focus on training jiu-jitsu and a bit of MMA and stuff अन्त पैसा अब न्युट्रिसन चाहियो हैन अब के अब त्यो 7-11 को मात्रै इन्स्टेन्ट नुडल खाएर त हुँदैन हैन 10 भाटको गुरुद्वारा त्यहाँ अशोक स्टेसनमा चाहिँ गुरुद्वारा त्यही छ के मेरो जिमको 15 minutes walk अन्त every I'm not even kidding हैन like every day after training I used to go eat there
they used to provide free meals
longer.
If I knew that it was there, I would have gone there, man. I used to go and buy it so expensive.
I used to like हुन्छ नि बेसी आएर every day आएर त्यहाँ म चाहिँ त्यहाँ स्टाफहरुको सबको साथी भइसकेको हैन अब मलाई म आउँछ भनेर ठक्कै हिटरमा छुटाएर राख्दिरहेको I'm like I'm so grateful and I used to go inside उनीहरुको मेडिटेसन हलमा एकछिन 5-10 मिनेट can just be with myself AC थियो नि त त्यहाँ एकछिन मेडिटेसन गरेको जस्तो गर्यो so they like don't think I'm a weirdo or something हैन अन्त टक्कै ढोकामा निस्किँदा यस्तो ढोकेको जस्तो गर्दियो उनीहरुको त्यो आइडललाई अनि गुरु नानक अन्त ढोकामा चाहिँ घिउभरिको हलुवा र एप्पल एउटा क्या आम्बो घिउ त्यो चिनी घिउ हलुवा कस्तो मिठो हुन्छ है कप मुखमा हालिदियो त्यो चाहिँ डिजर्ट एप्पल टोक्दै घर फक्दै हुन्छ नि अन्त अब मेट्रोहरू चढ्ने त छोड्दैन अब त्यो त प्रिभिलेज हुन्छ आफ्टर अ पोइन्ट अफ टाइम क्या लाइक obviously the bus and all like
that is actually how fighter life is.
Then I started appreciating like smallest things in life and
I think the Thai fighters, you know, in Thailand how they train, right? They mathi ring mai mathi sutcha cheuma mosquito net lagaera hunna त्यही सुतिरहेको हुन्छ. They have to clean, they have to sweep the whole stadium. No matter you're a champ, you're not champ, maybe you'll get better pay, but you have to clean your own fighting ring, gloves, sweep. But it's not like looking down. It's
part of the job.
Yeah,
it's not so different than a monastery.
I know, it's same, man. Monastery, back to monastery.
And talk about religion, Hinduism र Thai पनि कतिवटा Ramayana and all this.
Sorry bro.
We pretty much we have the we believe in what we call Ramayana ni.
त्यहाँ it was Thailand used to Bangkok used to be called Ayutthaya.
Ayutthaya, Siam. The older capital city was Ayutthaya. And then
I am the demon of Siam. The Siamese twins जोडेको
हजुर हजुर
जोडेको मान्छेहरूलाई
Oh, that came from there.
I know.
First time
Siamese twins भनेर.
हजुर
So Thailand also has its own version of Ramayana, right? But
Yes.
is it the same or?
pretty much the same. It's just the way of paint that was done by I think King Rama the Fourth. He was the one who did put all the he was more into like what ke bhancha tapaiko arts ma. So he made him draw.
Is it why
the
the kings are called Rama? So it's
related to
incarnation of
yeah,
the god.
Ram, yeah.
Oh.
And then I think the meaning also is great. I think the meaning of Ram is also the same as what you mean in Hindu and in Thai. Same thing.
I mean the characters and all the
Yeah.
the similar.
Sacrifice,
Yeah.
मैले चाहिँ what I heard was some king from South India or
हजुर.
Sri Lanka, but he went to Thailand and all these like Southeast Asian
हजुर.
countries or where to preach about I think Hinduism or
हजुर.
Buddhism, one of these religions back in like the days of
हजुर.
Paila. And this was a Sri Lankan guy telling me about this, and that's how it spread out to region mountains. All
mean,
these like
हजुर.
Indonesia, and Thailand.
The way Buddhist spread to Thailand, I think, pretty much the same as the rest of the Southeast Asia. Like just monk travel from from
Ornico
India.
also helped spread Buddhism a lot, right?
I think he was more into art चाहिँ उसले चाहिँ नेपालमा हुने त्यो हाम्रो त्यो पगोडा
Pagodas,
शेप त्योहरू चाहिँ he spread that out into त्यो कुबलाई खानको नेफ्यूको नाम के थियो सो उसको कोर्टमा चाहिँ he was a pretty renowned artist अनि उसले त्यो उसको आर्ट चाहिँ उसको आर्ट आर्किटेक्चरहरू चाहिँ यस्तो राम्रो भएर चाहिँ अब he was given त्यहाँकै citizenship, he was asked to live there, and I think they still have his statue and stuff like that.
Thailand, when I went Thailand, I was a kid actually. My dad got treatment को लागि गएको थिएँ खासमा because त्यहाँ medical tourism पनि एकदम हुने रहेछ नि. So त्यतिखेर चाहिँ I remember going to this crocodile farm. अनि the crocodile bit a guy's arm, man. त्यतिखेर.
Oh?
I don't know if it was part of the play or
A show ma.
showमा होला.
हात हालेको मुखमा.
अनि टोक्दिएको
probably part of the मैले चाहिँ एउटा भिडियो देखेको थिएँ यस्तो त्यो बिचारा त्यो मान्छेले चाहिँ त्यस्तै खाले ठाउँमा यस्तो टाउको यस्तो गर्दै हुन्छ साइडमा एउटा मान्छे चाहिँ पकेट बोकेर गइरहन्छ फ्ल्याट चिप्लिन्छ कि सबैजना तर्दिन्छ त्यो मान्छे पनि क्या तर्दिन्छ
बन्द हुन्छ अरे खप्प बन्द हुन्छ अरे
त्यो हजुर
त्यस्तो इन्सिडेन्ट भएको छ नि थाइल्यान्डको क्रोकोडाइल फार्म यस्तो गऱ्यो टाउको यस्तो राख्यो होइन अनि युजली इट डजन्ट डु लाइक द्याट बट सर आई थिङ्क धेरै ह्युमिड भएर त्यो मान्छेको पसिना चाहिँ कि उसको क्रोकोडाइलको माउथभित्र ड्रिप भएर देन इट गट प्यानिक एन्ड इज लाइक स्न्याप भएर
नुनिलो
ठ्याप्पै इट डिड नट डाई
फ्रेश वाटर क्रोकोडाइल थियो होला कि नुनिलो पानी सर्ट वाटर क्रोकोडाइल भएको चाहिँ ठिक नहुने
सपन्छ
यता चितवनमा पनि छ नि क्रोकोडाइल फार्म एउटा रिहेबिलिटेसन
खोङ इन थाई
एलिगेटर सरी
घरियाल भन्ने अर्कै हो
इट्स एन एलिगेटर नै हो नि
घरियाल
It's the same family type, but it's not.
they eat fish मात्रै that means
त्यो चुच्चो स्नाउट हुने
तर some grow like pretty big size रहेछ नि
ठुलो हुन्छ तिनीहरू
कतिवटा चाहिँ it's not the त्यो लामो स्नट वाला they have like pretty big ones पनि कि अनि so I was like walking around it अनि अब सुरुमा चाहिँ सानोहरू छ बच्चाहरू छ होइन त्यो अन्डाहरू पनि राखेको थियो तर उता जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ अलिक ठुल्ठुलो हुँदै थियो कि एन्ड अब तिनीहरूको लाइफ स्प्यानमा टिनेजर्स भनौँ न द वान्स द्याट आर जस्ट ग्रोइङ अप तिनीहरू चाहिँ वाइल्ड फाइट पर्ने रहेछ कि एन्ड देन सम हेभ लाइक ब्रोकन स्नट्स के
Yeah, I've seen that.
they die eventually
yeah they're just waiting to die नै
फिड गर्ने मिल्दैन
they खानै मिल्दैन कि so they're just waiting for that जस्तै कि अब
तिमीहरूको कम्पेयर टु यर फाइट तिमीहरूकै फाइट कार्डमा एउटा देयर वाज अ थाई गाई नि वाज भेरी गुड फाइट नाइट 3 मा हो तिमीहरूको फाइट भएको उसको
करण
दाइले लिएर आउनु भएको त ओए आउँछस् ड्राइभमा फोन गरेर ओ यहाँ हुँदैछ अरे एक त ठमेलमा घुमाइदिन्छौँ अरे त्यसपछि हो आइज यति भाट दिन्छु हो खाने साने सबै व्यवस्था यहाँकै नेटीमा नलाई हो
no that was not me that was actually it was organized by what Muay Nepal Muay Thai Association हाम्रो गणेश गुरुको उनीहरूले चाहिँ अर्गनाइज गरेको थियो अनि यता I just basically been a translator And then when they came
Interpreter.
here, interpreter, and then I took care of him, and then his name Fa Payot. His name Fa Payot. Very good fight. I think that time.
Man, his kicks were pretty like intense.
It was a whip.
Sound
I don't want to get hit with that. Like,
Chala pilchira thi bija karan garda. It was like
काँडाहरु थियो क्या घुँडामा
burn भइरहेको like literally I mean like खै तपाईहरुले त बजारमा खाए हामी त खाए पानीको पाइप खाने थियौँ नि
कालिम्पोङ दार्जिलिङमा त चल्छ
त्यस्तो चल्यो it was like big blue skin over there and it was really worried over there. But I think 5 years from now if we'll see those kind of fighters
he was pretty young too, right?
Yeah, for teenagers he's young, but for fighters he's almost 25. Muay Thai fighter career is 30. Unless you have a good strength and conditioning coach and who take care of it, and then you know
a good promoter,
maybe up to 35. After that,
Sanjay is
Sanjay is about
40, right?
He's younger than me.
What's that
He's younger than me.
How do you pronounce his name? Ladsila. Chipotle isn't he?
Oh, Ladsila.
I mean, you know, his experience.
तर त्यो Muay Thai fights are so brutal कि उनीहरुलाई brain damage हरुको कतिको like are they insured after their career?
No.
But I still think like it's dude. But honestly speaking, I think boxing is more brutal in that way. Okay?
Yeah, I think
to head trauma specifically कुरा गर्ने हो भने
long term मा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने तपाईको when you come to head injury, it's related to how long you have been fighting. So in Muay Thai, how long can you fight? 35? From the age of 8 to 35, right? So that's one time to get. And since there are nowadays you are doing a lot of head hunting in Muay Thai, but before it's more
legs and body.
Knee,
there's more points for body kicks than head.
Kicks,
oh yeah.
Yeah, point system. Thai point system. There is like kicks are king.
Leg kicks.
Body kicks.
Yeah, body kicks.
Yeah, score the most.
Yeah. Like
what do you mean?
Like अब त्यहाँ हात्ती साथी हैन because त्यहाँ मैले भक्कु त्यो एनिमल सफारीहरु पनि भक्कु देखे थिए
तर that's a little gray area तर फेरि it's all like त्यो
sedated tigers
कहाँ टाइगरले त्यस्तो बसिबस्छ तिम्रो फोटोको लागि
There's a monastery where tigers roam free हैन
the one
they're
that
sedated, man. They're like Tiger King ko monk version of Tiger King.
One of the tiger temples that was I felt very raw at that time. I mean like so it was more of like alright they just had it but then the next to make it safer for the tourism then they start using
sedatives. Then they kept on the tiger meat पनि फेला परेको थियो रेफ्रिजरेटरमा हो त मरेर काटेर चाइना पट्टि जान्छ नि अन्त तेरो
टाइगर्सहरु थाइल्यान्ड इन्डिजिनस हो टाइगर्सहरु के चाहिँ इन्डिजिनस नै हो थाइल्यान्डको खै छ कि छैन थाइल्यान्ड कहाँबाट ल्याउँछ
छ
नि है
छ टाइगर
हैन आई मिन लाइक जंगलमा
not Bengal tiger the
Royal Bengal
the khong भन्छ थाइल्यान्डमा I don't know if it's the same Thailand मा छ बाघहरु छ we have mythical and we have mythical के भन्छ god animal also like हुन्छ तपाईहरुको like
it's the Indo-Chinese tiger
human transfer into tiger त्यस्तोहरु all those things there.
Nice.
Damn, but it's sad to know that all the world go like free tigers combined is lesser population than all the captive tigers in America.
Right?
That's a wild system. कति होला होला है
Thailand ma tattoo culture is also pretty rich, no?
Yes. I think it's the thing with tattoo is more of like a it's more of actually it was supposed to as a reminder for yourself, okay? Like how we hang all like mala rakini say it's supposed to we stop bullets and all those stuff, but actually it's more of like there are vows that you take when you take those tattoo on your body, then you live through that vows, okay? Not to go away from the sin, basically the vows that you take. So
you talking about the monastery man the tebori tattoo hansa bhanne ni monks
sakyan sakyan
what's it called
sakyan sak means tattooing, yan means mantra prayers. So it's like
कला विषयमा चाहिँ मन्त्र फुक्दै टाइटो
Why not?
कानमा आइदिएको क्या अब दुखिरहेको
यहाँ पनि उता गर्छ होइन तराईतिर
I think that they believe that you when you die you will ride on those, or as a money or as a
I mean you're not naked when you go to the afterlife. No, seriously, you can't take anything else but your tattoos once and done.
Tattoo.
मिकी दाइ
हजुर
यसपालिको लागि यति नै है हाम्रो तपाईँसँग बस्यो भने त वी क्यान गो अफ है तर अब त्यही अब यति नै रहेछ थ्याङ्क यू सो मच
We should definitely sit down again.
Yeah man, when the time is right, time will be right.
I'll definitely actually I might approach you guys for once whenever we are officially launching the
B-boying.
No more man, I'm done. I'm done. I mean like I still love the culture and all, but no more dancing for me. Yo dhara gona nadine bhai just giving up. So when I start with the combat sport performance and I start going to different gyms, a different workout place to introduce a general physical preparedness for combat sport.
Have you started a page in social media where you can find it?
Yes, I do have started, but I have not posted anything yet. I just kept the logo there. I want it to be more of like, instead of me doing the workout or me saying stuff, I want
athletes to do it.
The athlete to be able to train another athlete. It's not like Miki Daile Chicago. It's not no more. I'm done with that. I'm more like मैले राख्दिएको छु सिके नसिके तिम्रो खुसी actually to be more I think that way you guys fighters learn better from their friends रहेछ कि I think when it comes to like this technique and all the coach is त हुन्छ but at the end of the day coach नहुँदाखेरि पनि साथीले नै प्याट होल्ड गरिदिँदो रहेछ नि त हैन that's when like you intimate you know your partner भनेर त्यो चाहिँ but anyway that would be something that I might approach.
All right brother.
हजुर
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mickey Dai.
Welcome.
This was awesome. Like time just flew by.
Hey.
And
Wow.
anything else you want to add before we?
No, nothing. I'm good. I really hope that you guys keep doing what I think you guys are a young generation voice. And then
Noise time.
Same voice, noise, tomato. I think I think it's we want our adult to listen to us, right? But how often do we listen to one another? So I think that's what you guys are doing right now. It's like you're talking towards the generation of like okay, you have to become adult to run the industry in the future. This is your guys' age right now. Younger than you guys are still like figuring out Jordan is cool or Puma is cool, man. Type of, but you guys are a generation that's going to run the show now, and then this is one platform that I think that you guys can talk towards one another, start bring it stuff together, bunny type of.
Kabunka.
Thank you for coming.